Oh, hey! You're back! And I see you brought, friends. Jeez. Okay, hold on. Let me just, just one sec. Shit! Ow! Okay. Yeah, let's get started. Where we left off, we just got a job proposition from a guy named Garrett Frost, and on the side, we actually leveled up. So now the party's at tasty level 3. And you know what that means? Subclass time, baby! So, Popper is a Tempest Domain Cleric under Cord. Viscera is a Zealot Barbarian. Victor is a Devotion Paladin under Paylor. And Flea is a Moon Druid. I know you Ranger fans must be disappointed, but you're valid because she was originally gonna multi-class. So, general first impressions of Garrett are pretty, So, you're a bard? Some mistake me for a bard, but I prefer to think myself as, a man who loves music and culture, but that's besides the point. You're a bard? I mean, what? Moving on, here's the situation. The city of Alamestria seems to be changing rapidly overnight, be it street names changing, new buildings sprouting up out of nowhere, or the disappearance of old landmarks. And yet all the townsfolk keep claiming it's always been like this whenever it's brought up. So, being the only one who could remember, Garrett went around looking for help. And when he saw the clouds from the party's fight against Tom and asked Blackwood's residents about it, they pointed him in the direction of their new heroes of the town. Garrett says he could offer us a pretty sufficient payment to help him figure out what's going on back in the city.
How sufficient we talking?
Popper! I was thinking, several hundred gold pieces for the trouble, should you agree? And I could take us there in my carriage.
Does the carriage come with drinks?
I suppose I could provide drinks and refreshments if that's necessary?
Yes!
Right. I suppose we're good to go then.
Actually, I have something I need to do on my own.
Is that so? Flea never explained to the others she could speak in full sentences. She just kind of started doing it. Get ready for a lot of that, because yeah, Flea's got a nasty, nasty habit of not sharing.
I still can't get used to that. I can't.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
When did she start doing it? Did you teach her? No. I swear to Cord, if you taught her to talk properly without us, I'll be so mad.
No, she just kind of started at the bar. Mr. Frost, we'll finish our business and meet you back at the carriage. Garrett awkwardly waves us off as the party splits off by talls and smalls again, the talls heading off to the magic shack and the smalls going back to the bubbling cauldron to unwind with drinks. Wait, before you go, I need to make one thing clear. You and I need to have a serious discussion later, but beyond that, be sure you ask Danny for something to contain the black disc. I don't think he'll appreciate me coming inside with this on my person again.
Right, I won't let you down.
Shuffling in quietly, Danny greets Flea from behind the medieval tabloids, where she explains the predicament of the black disc, while also bringing up the memory-sucking performed on Popper. It's Flea's turn to open up as she explains that she remembers nothing of her past, her last memory being that she washed up on the riverbank, and Viscera rescued her. While memory's not exactly Danny's forte, he does have something he feels could possibly help, digging up a bottle of bubbling blue liquid. I don't know how helpful this will be, but drink this and it'll help uncover some repressed memories. Here, on the house, since it'll be paid for in other ways.
Thanks. And the disc?
Wait, I just remembered some side effects of the blue shit! Well, it's a fucking napkin.
Yes, it is! A napkin of holding. I only paid 8 silver for it.
You what?
Viscera, I can't touch silver. I'd rather not have it in my possession.
Natural-born werewolves, also known as moon touch, have the equivalent of light skin allergies to silver, which could often get better after repeated exposure. So Flea can touch silver canonically. We caught up? We cool? Then cool. Back to the bar with the boys doing... fine. Through the power of booze and dumb games, Popper opens up to Victor about his uneasiness with what Danny did before, which brings him back to the magic shack a little bit after Flea leaves it. As I explained before, the orb sucked out whatever memory Popper specified, so now when he tries to recall what he specifically gave up, it's real fuzzy. The realization he couldn't remember what it was freaked him out, and while it's mostly drunken confusion, Danny still recounts when pressed. It was a specific memory, I don't know. Had this human woman, tan, wavy brown hair, and a creamy white dress. She was sitting across from you told her a joke, and she laughed. Happy? Amiga? Look, if it was something important, I could give it back in return for something else.
No, that's fine. You can... I don't want that.
Popper quietly leaves, with Victor hesitantly trailing after him as the goblin's mind steadily starts to spiral, deaf to questions of concern and numbly following the others along. You guys at least get a little more context for the moment, but having his question answered only caused more harm than good as everyone kept busy loading up for Alamestria. It's such an awkward ride there. Flea can barely fit, Popper is tipsy, Viscera is angry and quiet, and Victor is awkwardly drumming on his legs. He asks if anyone has been to Alamestria before, but no one responds, so he's just like, cool. The 4 of you are awfully quiet back there.
We're working on it.
Okay, let's talk.
Why is everyone upset?
Flea should know very well why I'm upset. Okay? Flea, do you understand why she's upset?
I lied numerous times, and I'm sorry for it. I didn't mean to lose your trust.
There was already very little trust at the start. It's just frustrating that I didn't do anything unfavorable, and it wasn't enough to earn any sort of trust with you.
I'm just unsure about myself.
Well, aren't we all?
You know, Vasira, if you ever want to talk about what happened, we're always here for you, and maybe you could work something out to help as best we can. I know it's not a lot, but...
There's not a lot that can be helped.
What truths haven't been said? No, really. Even from me, Victor, and from you, and you up there. If we're gonna keep doing this, and I mean if we're really gonna keep doing this, then we need to put on the table what the fuck hasn't already been said.
Well, Pomper's not usually the one to get everyone on track. They end up listening, so we open up one by one. Flea explains her lack of memory, and that the reason she lied was because she was scared Vasira would kill her. When Vasira asks why she never simply shifted, Flea explains Moontouch are first born naturally as werewolves, not another type of humanoid. So even if she did, there's no active memory of what her other form is. Popper then apologizes for lying and explains that a few years ago he stumbled on a mostly human town where he stole his robes. He's been actively living as Snap the Shincracker and lied about being a wizard because it's far more threatening to be an all-powerful wizard than a man of faith, which Victor and Vasira find fair. I wasn't always a barbarian.
Progress! Then what were you before?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Somewhat.
Do you like being a barbarian?
No. It's complicated.
Shit, that's a good truth.
As the tension lifts, the sound of a strumming lyre fills the air, and we find ourselves sinking into our seats as an overwhelming calm sensation falls over us. Garrett merely smiles as he plays, continuing to drive once things have settled down. Things get a little more lighthearted here, so Popper takes the time to test out his hat of disguise, and with it he changes into... I haven't seen one of those in years.
I remember seeing this little guy run around back in my old place. Well, for them it was little. Trust me, they're huge. Ta-da!
Yes, very tall. Some of them are bigger than Flea.
Barf?
When the carriage slows to a halt, everyone hops off to make camp. Garrett starts to mention that we could find Snagfang here, a special plant that could be sold off and made into special elixirs, but our attention quickly snaps elsewhere as the girls pick up on a dull screech of pain. Rushing ahead, they leave the rest of us to follow as a few minutes away we see the hulking form of an owlbear, currently bleeding from an arrow piercing its side. The arrow itself gives off a strange aura, one we couldn't pick up properly as the beast growled deeply upon our approach. I haven't seen one of these in a while. I heard all the owlbears in this area had been hunted to extinction. Careful as possible, Flea and Popper go in to start distracting in an effort to heal it, but the lodged arrow's aura forces the beast down again. Flea manages to get the arrow out, and when the owlbear moves to swipe at her in pain, it realizes the pulsating agony is gone. She heals it again, and while it doesn't fully understand what's happened, it at least seems grateful as it trudges away. Wow, that was brave of you guys.
Flea, that was amazing! You did good! Aw, thanks. I'm a druid, after all. Nature's my thing. The only thing I think I'll ever be good at is just so...
Oh my god, why can't you just take the freaking compliment?
What else happened? Fun little tidbit, Flea does find some Snagfang and discovers it's a parasitic root. And, Vasira asks more about Garrett and the mission. So he explains he's been living in Alamestria for about 10 years and that this weird happenings began a couple months ago, making him question if he's starting to lose his mind. But now he's sure that things in the city have changed drastically, taking out a book on the history of Alamestria to show us a passage about a street called Wormwood. But in the Alamestria that is now, Wormwood doesn't exist, and if you ask anyone in town, they act as though Wormwood never existed. If I didn't take this book with me, I'm sure it probably would have changed along with the rest of Alamestria. Speaking of which, we should probably discuss how we'll be presenting there. Vasira, you should be fine. Popper and Victor I could probably work some magic on, but Flea, we'll have to figure something out. I admit I've never seen a werewolf in person before, and regrettably the stories I've heard are pretty nasty.
Yeah, those tend to be cursed werewolf stories, not Moontouch like myself. Cursed werewolves don't have control over themselves, but Moontouch are just sort of born like this.
Really? Could you tell me more?
Wait, back on topic. What kind of population are we dealing with?
Oh, mostly humans, elves, half-elves, and a few dwarves, halflings, and gnomes. Dragonborn are a rarity, goblins and kobolds are an extremely uncommon sight, and there's no way of known werewolves walking the streets. For your sake, I'm at least very, very good at making first impressions, though.
Are you really that good?
I don't like to brag or anything, but I'm a people person, I would say.
Well, you are human, so it makes sense.
I thought that punchline would be obvious, but that's a good joke.
Wow, with charisma like yours, it must really help you with being a bard.
Huh? I'm not. I agree. Must be useful with your craft. Again, not a... Oh, for crying out loud! Sleepwatch commences, and the group thankfully is not raided in the night, but interesting things happen to both Vasira and Popper. On Vasira's end, she takes a hold of her holy symbol, speaking softly as she says, "It's been a very long time, and I haven't heard anything, but is this the right direction to be going? It's so unclear. I still don't know what I did wrong, and I know I've done far worse since. I've done so much worse. I will not blame you if there's no forgiveness, but I'm willing to try." And on Popper's watch, it's less a special moment and more one of unease. He never finds it, but he knows there's something watching deep within the woods. By morning, he voices this to the others, and everyone agrees to keep an eye out on the trip.
Shotgun!
Back on the road, the party continues until... Oh no. One of the horses cries out in pain as a crossbow bolt pierces its leg, forcing the carriage to come to a screeching halt. Strange people step out of the foliage, one thug heading towards the front while the others stand at the ready. Their captain, a rotten-toothed man, runs a hand through his greasy hair as he steps forward. The motion reveals a tattoo on his forehead, an hourglass with an unnerving eye directly in its center. He looks to us with a grin, chuckling before he speaks. "Now that just stopped you bastards, didn't it?" "Now I don't know what you are, you quinoa-looking piece of shit, but those mangoes in that little buggy of yours, they got something that belongs to us."
That's how you're doing the accent?
"I'm trying my best." "Gentlemen, I don't believe I follow, but whatever has happened, I'm sure we could talk things out. Why don't we just calm down and get to the bottom of this together?" "You hearing this, lads? Looks like you got a real fighter with you there. How about we see just how good they really are?" A gang of thugs has appeared. Roll for initiative. At this point, they knew they were outmatched, the bandits starting to bail as a few were knocked aside. With a couple failed attacks from Vasira and Flea, Celie manages to bite the fleeing captain, but not before he could smash her nose in retaliation and screams back, "You bastards are gonna regret this someday!" And with that, combat is...
My baby!
over. Flea helps Garrett heal the horses while he compliments the party on a battle well fought. Only thing I can't figure out is, what is it they possibly could have wanted?
I don't know, but I feel like I've seen that symbol on his forehead before. I don't know where.
But while Flea couldn't seem to recall, Popper remembered clear as day. See, back at the bubbling cauldron, there had been a group he passed on the way to talk to CECILIA. A group of thugs by the look of it, perhaps not too memorable at first glance, but tattooed on them.
Oh, those asshats!
While everyone starts shuffling back to the carriage, Popper lingers for a bit, wandering over to the bandit he had knocked out cold earlier in search of clues. When that doesn't work, he also tries to pants them, but the dude has on one of those dumb loop belts that take forever to untie, so...
Flea, come help me with this!
Flea at least finds weapons and silver coins, which are quickly given away, but Popper pauses as he spies that tattoo again on the back of the bandit's hand, and that now familiar grin rises on his face as he pulls out a dagger.
Flea, either you look away now, or you can see something really funny. The choice is yours. You can do whatever you want. I don't.
Popper cuts off the tattoo.
Why? What? We need it for reference. You could have just... Wait for it. Man, I really don't care. He'll wake up woozy, but he'll be fine. But our little secret, because I'm no vindictive person. Oh, wait.